Hi, I'm Earl. Thanks for stopping by my shop today. I'd like to show you a couple of dowel jigs I made last week. I made them to use primarily on 2x4, 2x6, 2x lumber. This one has a little bit of adjustments on it. If the fence is on this side, it cuts about 3/4 of an inch from the edge of the fence, which would be about right for the middle of the 2x4 side. If the fence is on the other side, with the fence on this side, it cuts about in the middle of the wide side of the 2x4. If the washer that's used for the fence for the stop is on this side, it's about a 1/2 inch from the edge. If the washer is on this side, it would stop about 1 inch from the edge, and that's just a matter of moving that screw, that bolt. I'll show you the details of how I made this, what the materials I used, and some examples of how I've used it. The other one is very similar, but there's no adjustments on it. It was made primarily to dowel the end of a 4x4 and just pretend this is glued together. But you could butt joint a 4x4 into another 4x4. Here you could make this joint to have this attached here with 5 dowels and glue. I'll show you the actual use of that one later on. I roughed out my plans in SketchUp and transferred the dimensions to a piece of 1 inch thick oak. The base of the jig will be 2 1/4 inches by 7 1/2 inches. I marked out locations for 6 holes, 3/4 of an inch from one side and 1 1/2 inches from the other side. I began 1 inch from the end and ended 1/2 inch from the other end. I usually center punch the wood before drilling. For me, drilling these holes accurately would be impossible without a drill press. Their position is not so critical, but they must be vertical in the wood. My shop-built auxiliary drill press clamping table was also a great help here. If you haven't seen the video on this, check it out. It also helps to drill the holes before cutting the base to final size. Next, I cross-cut the base to length and ripped it to width. 6 holes are needed in the edge of the base to locate the fences. I mark and center punch them first. These holes will be tapped for 1/4 by 20 bolts and are drilled with the stubby bit that came with my tap and die set. Threading holes in oak works very well. More info on this can be seen in my video about making wooden knobs. The fence is made by drilling 2 1/4 inch holes to match the ones that were tapped in the sides of the base. The bandsaw is then used to cut slots to the holes. One-quarter inch bolts and washers are used to attach the fence to the base. I'm aware that hardened drill guides are available, but they are about 6 times more expensive than the steel spacers from Lowe's. These seem to be working just fine. I'm using 1 inch long spacers that are 3/8 of an inch inside diameter and 1/2 inch outside diameter. They are just pressed or hammered in. I bought 6, but apparently I lost one somewhere. Darn, another trip to Lowe's. I've marked the sides of the base as side A and side B. Position it between the two boards to be joined and mark them with the corresponding A and B to help with maintaining the orientation. Drill one board, then reposition the jig on the other board and drill it. Use at least 2 clamps to ensure that the jig doesn't shift on the boards. I need to join pieces of 2x4 to make a 4x4 since I cannot purchase any 4x4 lumber around here. I plan to use a couple of dowels to help in alignment during glue up. For this test I'll put in 4 dowels. A piece of tape on the drill bit marks the depth of the hole, but I now have proper drill collars to use. Also, my DeWalt bits seem to work better than this brad point bit. Double check the orientation of the jig and clamp it to the next piece. After inserting the dowels and checking the fit, I'm very satisfied with the results. The spacing of the dowels from the fence could be adjusted by making spacers to go between the fence and the base. I need to glue up 9 short pieces of 4x4 for the bench I'm making, so I move the auxiliary drill press table to my work table and get to work. I won't bore you with all 9 pieces. The other jig requires making a mark on the 2 pieces to be joined and aligning the jig to those marks. It's probably hard to see in the video, but I marked the center of the jig with a score from a marking knife. Also note that only 3 of the corner holes are symmetrical. The 4th hole is 1/8 of an inch closer to the center hole. I did this to prevent the pieces from being assembled in an incorrect orientation. Here you can see the position of the jig between the 2 pieces. Just securely clamp them one at a time and drill the holes. These jigs are simple to make, very inexpensive, and very accurate. I believe dowels make a joint that's stronger than pocket holes or biscuits, and don't take much longer to make. They are probably not as strong as mortise and tenons or dominoes though. Here you can see the top left dowel is offset a little. There's no way to assemble this joint incorrectly. All it needs now is some glue. I've already made a 3rd dowel jig to use on this project, and I'll try to get a video of it up soon. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe. As always, have a great day.